Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for January. I almost just said November 2022. We're going to jump right in here, Taurus, and we are going to see what is going on for you at this time. And pretty interesting that you have these like two cards here that would represent like birds or something about birds. I also think it's interesting that this nightingale spirit, there's another deck that I have where the nightingale is sitting on like a very, very gigantic egg. And it always reminds me, the nightingale spirit just in general, as a totem animal, always reminds me of you, kind of exceeding your own expectations. It's like a really tiny little bird. And on this other deck that I have, it's like sitting on a gigantic egg that's like multiple times bigger than the bird itself is. So it kind of says that you are capable or you are able to do more than you think is possible. And you have this Protect the Nest card as well right here. This Protect the Nest card is kind of like a card that says maybe you need to protect something like an idea, a plan, a goal, a wish, a dream, something that you have, which I feel has come up for you multiple times, recently even. So you start off with this back on task card. I think the task that you are getting back on is sitting on your gigantic ass egg here, Taurus. This card here says, be sure you are using your time in the best possible manner. You might be considering reviewing your goals, your schedule, or a project you are working on. All could use some fine tuning. So this card kind of reminds us that maybe we need to fine tune some things and kind of fix some things that we're working on. Kind of like this setup that I have going on right now. I can already tell that it needs some work, right? But we're working on it. So I feel like you're doing the same thing here, Taurus. You have the Tower, the Hangman, and the Chariot showing up here in the first row. To me, this is the most powerful combination in the tarot right here, the Tower with the Judgment card, and especially if they're coming up next to each other like this here, Taurus. To me, this represents some sort of major wake-up call, like a very significant change occurring in your life or something. To me, even though it is the Tower, this is going to be a positive change for you because you have the Six of Wands, the Empress, the Four of Wands, the Eight of Wands, the Chariot. I mean, to me, this is a very significant lightning bolt moment that is going on here. If we look at the Tower, there is this lightning bolt that is kind of striking the top of the Tower, and that crown is falling off the top of the Tower as well. The crown kind of represents the fact that nothing is immune to change. Even a king will die, for example. And we see this on the death card as well. But on the Tower, it kind of says like maybe you've had an idea for a very long time, something that you've held in high regard, or something that you see as like the ultimate idea. And again, I think the whole entire reading, I'm making it very overcomplicated, it's very simple. It's just saying that something you're existing, I don't actually think it needs to undergo a death. I think it just needs to undergo more of a rebirth. It's already undergone some sort of transformation. So it's kind of like you're taking an idea or something that you've been working on for a long time here in this reading, and I feel like it just needs some, like fine tuning, like that first card said. It doesn't need to completely change, I think it does need to change, but it doesn't need to go away. Sometimes I think we can be working on something like a relationship, and we can think maybe it's a good relationship, but something isn't right, and maybe our first instinct is to run away. I feel like this is saying don't do that. I feel like this is saying just to like a little bit of work, a little bit of spice, a little bit of something extra is all something new needs, a new perspective. We see that here with the Hangman as well. I feel like the Hangman is just saying that gaining a new perspective on something that you've been working on for a while is probably going to change everything or is going to fix things for you. So that's what I would be doing here. It's going to lead to some sort of victory here, Taurus, as well. So this card here, the Chariot, is about a victory. And it's also a card of your willpower as well. And I definitely get that in this reading. That like whatever it is that you're working on at this time, I would say that this is something inside of you, some sort of project, a business, a goal that you have for yourself. Very clear to me with the bird imagery here, the Empress as well. All these cards are kind of like saying to me that it's very clear that you're working on something that is very important to you. Something that you want to take care of, like a bird would take care of its egg. But to me, I think it just needs a little bit more push. I think you got the creativity down. I think you have the energy flow down. I think it needs more of that masculine energy, maybe more creative energy, or not more creative more energy, just more push, right? With this Chariot card. With the Tower, you have the Four Wands. So a Tower moment is actually going to lead to freedom. The Four Wands is a card of freedom. It is a card of marriage, but it can also just represent being set free or something that sets you free. The Hangman, you have the Six Wands. Six Wands twice in your reading, so this looks really good. Six Wands is a card of attention. I think that if you're doing anything important this year, in the year of whatever year we're in, 2022, do I ever know? Probably not. If you're doing anything important, I do think that there are going to be, it's going to be, well, here's the thing that I will say. It's going to be very rapid. What's going to happen? People are going to come out of the woodwork, and if you're kind of like glowing up here, or if you're getting a lot of attention, there are going to be plenty of people that aren't going to like it, right? But the thing is that I see very quickly this year in particular that people are going to come around. Like, if you're finding success in love or business, it's like the immediate test from the universe, whatever you want to call it, is going to be people coming at you, being like, who the hell are you, right? Who do you think you are? That type of attitude, right? And I would just ignore it, and I would just keep glowing up here, because it's like everybody's ascending is kind of how I see 2022. I think it's the beginning of the ascension. Maybe we're not, exactly there yet. I think people are still a little bit lost, not sure where to go. Not a big deal, not a problem. All part of the process, right? But what I would say is it's like we kind of just have to go through it, and I would say, glowing up is the best way to go through it, obviously. With the Chariot, you have the Ten of Cups. I like this because, to me, the Ten of Cups, Chariot, like all these cards, it's like saying that your vision is clear. The Ten of Cups is fortune after difficulty. It's a card of happy home, happy family. Amazing card for networking, working with your community, people around you. But in this situation here, it's just saying that you're seeing things very clearly, like your desires. The Ten of Cups could be anything that would make you very happy. It could be anything that leads to total fulfillment in your life. So, like, what it is doesn't matter. I think you see it is what the Chariot and the Ten of Cups is saying. It's like your vision on what you are protecting here with that protective nest card. It's like very, very clear. Next, you have this Nightingale spirit. This card says love is all around. So, clearly, I feel like love is all around you here, Taurus. There's plenty of love for you, and there are plenty of people who are interested in you and all that other good stuff with this love is all around card. So I feel like there's a lot of attention and a lot of attraction going on, right? I also feel that, like I said, there is something inside of you that is coming out. I'm pretty sure I've done similar readings like this for you in the past. In this row here, you have the Judgment card. The Six of Wands wanted to come out here with the Empress and the Eight of Wands. This, to me, is very successful, very quick success type of energy. This would represent a quick, kind of like a quick win or some sort of quick success happening for you in your life. The Judgment card, again, with the Tower, to me, is the most powerful combination in the tarot. This is some sort of significant change. This is a major wake-up call when you get these two cards together. It is like that aha moment, that wake-up type of moment. So something you need to pay attention to with this energy. I don't like the fact that we have the sorry, wrong camera. I don't like the fact that we have the Five of Pentacles over here, because Five of Pentacles is being left out in the cold. This could just be a little stinking thinking, is kind of like what I'm feeling here. Because you actually have the Four of Wands and the Eight of Swords on top of all the other good cards you have here. So it's kind of like saying, maybe your focus is the thing that needs to change so that you don't get sucked into, negativity or whatever. This to me is major glow up vibes right here. I'm getting the word survivor's guilt popping into my head right now, Taurus, with these two cards. It kind of reminds me sometimes, like I had those words, who do you think you are, popping into my head earlier as well. It reminds me that, again, sometimes when we become successful, maybe we see people who aren't as successful around us, and maybe it hurts our feelings, maybe we feel bad for them and all this other stuff. I would be careful of getting sucked down into that energy, right? The more successful you are, the more you are able to help other people. So, I have been preaching, and I'm going to continue to preach the fact that I think that, especially in 2022, people need to be as successful as they possibly can be, and make as much money, or whatever success means for you. I mean, it's like maybe you want to start a cat sanctuary or whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter what it is. I would just do it it whatever your egg is here, and don't worry about what other people are saying about it. And I would just become as successful as you can be. Again, people need I think people need examples right now because, like I've said a million times before, with Neptune and Pisces, it's like normally maybe we could set out and maybe we have a goal and we see like little markers along the way to get to that goal. The problem is those markers are gone. They have disappeared. It's like we have to be our own guidance system. And if we can do that and we can show other people that something is possible, then it becomes possible for other people, and then you are becoming like the guidance system for other people. You're creating a more abundant world, basically, and that's exactly what I'd be doing if I were you here, Taurus, with this reading. And you have the Eight of Wands, very social energy. Eight of Wands to me is a social energy. It is a card of socializing, getting together with other people, doing things with other people. To me, it's the card of socializing. So I do feel like, working with other people and socializing would be amazing for you right now, Taurus, especially with this reading that we have going on here. With the Judgment card, you have the Page of Pentacles. So the Page of Pentacles could be definitely good news coming in, especially with the Judgment card. Judgment is a wake-up call, but with the Page of Pentacles, it could be news. With the Six of Wands and the Empress, Ace of Pentacles, this is a big opportunity that you're waking up to here, Taurus. So whatever this opportunity is something that is kind of, again, bigger than you, which is a repeat message that I've been getting for you for a while. And with the Eight of Wands, you have the Nine of Cups, probably everything you want. That's also probably why it's very scary with the Nine of Cups, is because it is something that is going to lead to kind of like total fulfillment and abundance and all these other things. So I kind of like feel that for a lot of you here with this energy is that, it could be one of those things where, the scary part is that you're actually reaching some sort of big goal. Next, you have this Protective Nest card, and I feel the Protective Nest card is saying that, number one, I do feel that you should protect your ideas, especially if you happen to know that people hating on your idea is going to hurt your feelings or whatever. Do whatever you can to protect yourself from those other people's feelings, right? Until you get to a point where you don't care anymore. I would definitely protect things, but again, I feel that you need to, I don't think this is so much talking about protection. I think it's more saying that something is worth protection. And look at this, 12, 12. Are you kidding me, Taurus? There you go. So I kind of feel like it's just saying that something is very big, and I think it needs to be nurtured. A lot of nurturing energy here with the Empress as well. So it's like your ideas are probably much better than you realize. In this row, we have the Five of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. So I feel the Eight of Swords is probably the most important thing here. I feel like it's saying, like, you need to realize that you're much more capable than you realize, is what I think with this Eight of Swords. I feel like it's saying, like, you are capable of doing so much more in your life. So definitely something to pay attention to. Four Wands is like these people are celebrating on the other side of the Four Wands. They are celebrating. They want to have a good time with you. They want to do things with you here, Taurus. So I feel you need to maybe surround yourself with different people, or just kind of like find, I don't think you're, everybody else's readings, it's kind of interesting because they've all been about kind of surrounding yourself with different people. Your reading's a little bit different. I think that's part of it, but I think it's more like everybody else, it was like they're cutting, negative people out and all this other stuff. I don't see that here. I see this as you more maybe finding just other people. I don't think you're really necessarily, unless there's somebody that's super negative in your life, I don't really see you cutting anyone out. I just see you kind of like just finding people who support you, people who want to see you grow, like all that stuff. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the King of Wands. Yeah, you are going, I think the universe is kind of requiring you to be bold, to be assertive, to really go for the things that you want at this time here, Taurus. I feel like the universe is like really encouraging you and pushing you with this King of Wands energy. That is kind of like a good solution to the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles says, do not call attention to your weaknesses. King of Wands literally says, nurture your strengths. So, that's exactly what I would do here. If something is causing resistance, I just wouldn't do it at all, period. With the Four of Wands, you have the Three of Cups. Very, very social reading. As I've said, I do feel like socializing, being with other people, communicating with other people, getting other people to help you is going to be very, very important. I kind of feel this is one of those readings where it's saying you don't have to do everything. Again, you have this big, gigantic egg inside of you that wants to come out, and, I would just let it out, whatever it is. And with the Eight of Swords, you have the Magician. You have all the tools necessary to create your own reality. Again, going through a major transition or transformation here, Taurus. He has this snake wrapped around his waist. And the snake wrapped around his waist represents the fact that he can create his own reality. Not only that, he can change who he is whenever he wants. He doesn't have to be the same. It's kind of like a card of reinvention, being able to reinvent yourself and change who you are. That is clearly going on here. I mean, Tower in the Judgment card is a major shedding of the skin. It is you kind of like, stepping into a different energy. And that's what I see going on here. So this is a very major change that's going on in your life. So I like this for you, Taurus. This looks really good. A lot of changes going on. There is love here, by the way, if you want love. I wouldn't call this love reading for this month. I would say this is like an egg that you are taking care of that's about to hatch into something much, much bigger in your life. The Ace of Pentacles, Six of Wands, Empress as your center cards. That's pretty crazy to me. There's clearly a major opportunity, but it's something you've been working on for a long time. I think it just needs to change a little bit in like how you approach it, but looks amazing. So thank you for being here, Taurus. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your month.